It's the PokerNews Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 848th episode of the PokerNews Podcast. I am Chad Holloway at Level 9 Studio, joined by the regular crew, Kyna England, Mike Holtz. We are here for a 2024 World Series of Poker postmortem, a highlight show, if you will. But first, we got to talk main event because it's over. It ended yesterday. How are you guys feeling? Like, is it set in? The WSOP is over?
A few weeks ago, I think it set in that the WSOP was over. Yes.
No, it's definitely set in for me. I'm relieved, but you know, a little disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a hangover. We call it the WSOP hangover. And I actually am glad that this year they made the end of the main event coincide with the last day of the series.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It just, I don't know, worked out all right. So the last time we recorded here, it was just reaching the final table, I believe. We talked a lot about Kristen Foxen's elimination in 13th place. We talked about
Brian Kim.
Kim, and we talked about Jonathan Tamayo laying down those pocket queens. And you said, and I quote, "He's dead to me." You did not like that move, but I got to tell you, Mike, he won the main event.
No, he did. He's just better than me. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, it's sick. He put on a great performance. McKeon on the rail. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he did that when there was 10 left, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, bro, fold whatever you want and win $1 million. I think I would too. If I just like had the chips to sustain and like be like, you know, it's a lot of pressure. Yeah. And yeah, you want to win, but first, let's win $1 million. Just make the final table, you know?
I think it was like a $130,000 mistake to fold pocket queens in a vacuum.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
somebody ran the numbers, and
Yeah.
it was like a little six-figure mistake technically, but it worked out in his favor here, coming out on top of the record 10,112 player field. This final table was an interesting one. We previewed it in the last show, right? We talked a lot about Niklas Astedt, the Swedish pro, online pro. We talked about the chip leader Jordan Griff, the amateur out of Illinois. And then, you know, the worldwide affair, Brian Kim, Joe Serock there. I was looking forward to this one. And right out of the gate, I was surprised to see Joe Serock go out in 8th place, followed by Brian Kim in 7th. They began the final table with chips and have experience on their side, but early exits. Were you guys surprised by that?
Yeah, pretty surprised. I mean, I didn't really get to watch a whole lot of the coverage because I was in the closer and they were like showing it, you know, so we didn't really get to see like the hands and everything, just kind of the outcomes. So, but yeah, it was kind of like a little bit like, wow, what's going on here while watching it?
Yeah, there was some big hands throughout this final table. Brian Kim going ham with the King 6 suited. Mike, you've praised Brian's virtues here on the podcast in the past. What do you think about this particular hand? He even kind of said in his exit interview, he's like, it kind of is a punt, but also I think I understand his reasoning on doing it.
Oh, I totally understand his reasoning. I don't think it was necessarily a punt. Like, it looks like a punt now, you know, when you call by tens. I don't know. I'd have to really do a deep dive into it, but I understand what he was thinking. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to have that type of dog in you to win these type of events. So I'm sure he's done similar plays trying to get here, and they've worked, and now
Exactly.
one doesn't work on the big stage. You look dumb, but I don't know. I think having the heart to do it with that hand is pretty sick.
But see, like on the opposite end, like you praise him kind of for having the stones to do that, but like also like Tamayo folding the queens, like that sort of is the opposite end of the spectrum, like having the discipline to be like, I'm just going to wait this out, you know?
Well, it's not like he's making like a disciplined fold with queens. It's just like, oh, why? You know, what are you doing?
There might have been, though. You never know. Like, I mean, Joe Serock certainly has it in him, too, to just, like, rip it in his face and put pressure on him. He just didn't want to be in that spot.
Oh, I thought he should have just jammed the queen spree.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what I would have done.
He had 20
as well.
big blinds and queens.
Okay. Again, did not watch.
But he won the main event. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You know
Hindsight
what I mean?
2020. I do respect, though. So Kristen Foxen kind of made a move that some people are like, is it a punt? Brian Kim kind of does the same. We're going to talk a minute about Niklas Astedt's final hand, kind of in that same boat. To me, though, it was just like these players probably pulled these moves a dozen times getting there. And it just so happens that when they pull it on the big stage with the cameras there, it didn't work out for them. So everyone thinks like, come on. Let me talk about it. Niklas Astedt, Jordan Griff, Jonathan Tamayo all make the final three, right? So you play down from 9 to the final three. Jason Sagal busts in 4th place, card dead the entire final table, but still laddered up for $3 million payday. So they go on an overnight hiatus. Niklas Astedt has the chip lead, pretty small. All three players were relatively close in chips, but Astedt did have the chip lead. They come back yesterday, which was Wednesday, July 17th, to play down to a winner. And within the first 30 minutes, Niklas Astedt and Jordan Griff play a huge pot, monster pot. They had been battling a little bit. Griff had come in very loose, the amateur wild card kind of aspect. And in this particular hand, which I want to show the bust out, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Check it out.
Griff back to work with pocket nines after the raise from Astedt.
And Griff pokes into the chip lead over Astedt after that last hand for the first time here, three-handed.
All three held the chip lead for long periods, or in Tamayo's case, a very short period of time on day one of this final table.
Maria was tied for the chip lead when this event began.
Nice going. That's strong. All these people.
I mean, actually, first hand I raised and everybody folded, so I did have it.
You had it solely.
Tamayo folds Griff with a 3-bet.
Yeah, and he's going a little bit bigger than we saw Tamayo's 3-bet sizing from out of position. Again, this is definitely within the range of sizings you can choose. Astedt certainly has a stronger hand than I think a lot of the hands he could be opening from the button. You know, it's definitely on the stronger side.
Oh.
Blocks a lot of premium holdings, premium pairs.
Pocket nines against the 2 overs. Nines flops big.
Yeah, and quite a coordinated texture when we think about Astedt's continuing range pre-flop. It will contain these suited broadways that will have some connection to this board, right? The queen jack suited, the king jack suited. You know, we see all the offsuit combos in Astedt's calling range as well. So certainly enough out there for Griff to want to get value from. And again, also the 10Xs, right? If we're talking about the suited broadways, if we're talking about ace 10 suited, ace 10 offsuit.
Astedt with a draw to a stronger hand.
Yeah, but sometimes Astedt might be viewing this as, you know, 1 or possibly 2 of his overcards are live. We can see that it's not.
Oh.
And he commits 25 million to the pot. Griff sitting on a set of nines.
This isn't an ideal turn card by any means. You know, granted, you have a set of nines, but
Griff moves all in with the set of nines.
and this
The top left that Griff had Astedt covered by 500,000. This is for Astedt's main event.
I think Astedt is wondering, you know, could Griff have a hand like maybe ace queen of clubs here? You know, does queens play as a shove here? You know, does
That was
159 million.
do aces just jam turn for over pot? You know, or does he perhaps have some of those straight draw, flush draw combinations? I mean, maybe Astedt wondering, does he have some like king 8 suiteds that he...
And he makes the call, and he's way behind.
Wow.
Jordan Griff
We need to
on
dodge a
the
queen.
cusp of a monster pot, a monster lead, and a monster
We just
knockout.
need to dodge a queen. Oh my God, we just need to dodge a queen.
Niklas Astedt into his corner. Jordan Griff
Like
likewise.
that. No.
Griff is stunned at where it stands.
This is huge.
Tamayo could be heads up on one more street. Astedt needs it now.
Has to have a queen or he's gone.
Jordan with the family. The biggest moment of this main event falls right now. The river card, the king of hearts! Griff takes down the man who would be king, Niklas Astedt.
This game, though, is always live by the sword, die by the sword. Yesterday, when he ended the day, he said that he just wants to feel confident in his decisions. And he has seen so many hands and been in a spot very similar to that. And I would imagine that he did what he thought was best in that moment.
All right, so there you saw it, an absolutely huge hand. They were literally 500,000 in chips apart at this time, which wasn't a lot, given the blinds were 2 million, 4 million, 4 million. And you have Griff flopping the set of nines. You have Astedt turning top pair with a gut shot and a good kicker, and Griff just rips it on you for 100 and whatever million it was, 159 million. And Astedt hits the tank, and then eventually calls, misses the river. And again, another one of those hands that viewers are probably looking at like, well, what the hell? Even though Astedt does have his reasons, as he explained a little bit afterwards. I don't know, what'd you guys think about it? I was just shocked. Like, I did not expect this big of a hand this early in the three-handed match. I thought there was going to be a lot more small ball poker being played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought. I was surprised that they collided at this level. I was surprised Astedt called it off, honestly, but he knows better than me. I mean, the guy's the best in the world.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. I agree with you. I'd rather be the one shoving or something, than calling off. But he had a read, and he just didn't think that Griff would be shoving over pairs like that, or a set like he did. And that's I guess a credit to Griff. He put these pros, on their heels, not knowing. It was hard to predict what he was going to do. So Griff wins that one. He takes like a 2-1 chip lead into heads up play against Jonathan Tamayo, but Tamayo doubles into the lead. Griff gets short. He doubles back into the lead. So it was a fun little back and forth heads up affair. I think it lasted like 63 hands. And then ultimately it was Tamayo coming out on top, but Griff finished in second place and took home, I think it was $6 million.
$6 million. Good for him.
He's expecting his first kid with his wife in 2 months.
Oh, good.
Yay.
Congrats, Griff. Yay.
Yeah. And then $10 million for Tamayo. One of the things I really liked about Griff is, and we talked about this, Mike, on the last episode, like as the amateur coming into a final table like this, it would be great for poker if he won. Right?
Sure, yeah.
And even though he didn't win, I still think it was good for poker that it shows the amateur guy, the family man, can make a deep run. He can have fun doing it. He can compete with the top pros. And he actually gave a really good winner's interview that I just thought was very indicative of just what kind of person he is. And even though he didn't win, he was still appreciative to go as far as he did. Check it out.
Congratulations on your extremely deep run in the 2024 WSOP Main Event. What are your plans for the $6 million?
That's a lot of money. I'm having a baby in 2 months, so I need to get baby supplies. I'm going to do a college fund for my son. And then after that, probably some nice gifts for myself and my wife, and probably invest the rest of it.
And then what about your experience at the 2024 Main Event? Talk me through what that was like.
I'm ecstatic with the result. I mean, this is beyond any dream I've ever had, coming in second. It's the thing that surprised me is just the grind that it is, playing 10 days, 10 plus hours a day. I'm exhausted, and the first thing I'm going to do when I get home is get some sleep.
That's very fair. And what about the future? What are your plans in the poker world and outside of the poker world?
Focusing on being a father first and foremost. Aside from that, I haven't thought about anything, and kind of need to decompress and think about it a little more.
All right, congratulations to Jordan Griff on finishing runner-up. I do want to say something I really didn't like after the winner was crowned. It started going on social media like wildfire. People thinking that Jonathan Tamayo cheated. They saw this video of him going to celebrate with his rail, which had Joe McKeon there and some other folks. And in this video, they're hugging, and you kind of see some earpiece fall out, and then they handed it to somebody, and everybody's like, oh, were they cheating? They had an earpiece. It's like, get fucking real. That's not what happened.
Right.
Watch the video.
You can't even see the cards on the rail, too. Like, literally, it's hard to tell what anybody has, whose turn it is. Like, when you're on the rail, like, it's really hard to follow the action. I can't even imagine, like, trying to cheat in that, like, sort of venue.
Go heads up in the main. You definitely get, because they take,
like
a minute per action, and the cards are right up there. So they could in this scenario. I do know what you're saying, though. I've railed some people and been like, I don't know what's happening. But I think heads up where they're taking that long between decisions, they could do something. But yeah, like you said, Chad, it seems like it was just McKeon's AirPod, right?
And they're really strict about, if you're at a final table, like, not to brag or anything, but I made the final table of one of the PokerNews deep stacks, and they told me I could not wear my AirPods. Like, they're like, no AirPods, no cell phones at any final table during the WSOP. So I can't imagine they wouldn't have cleared that beforehand, like seeing that in his ear, you know?
It wasn't in his ear. Actually, here, take a look at the video. It's only a few seconds long. Tell me what you think.
From lifetime grinder to lifetime world champion for Jonathan.
All right, so there you kind of saw it. This was tweeted out there was a Wall Street SILV just saying World Series of Poker cheating. Did that guy grab the earpiece and help dispose of it? Like, watch the video closely. No, it was an earpiece in Joe McKeon's ear. He's watching the stream on the rail, which is on an hour delay. And then, yes, him and Dominic Nietzsche, they're running sims or what have you, but not in real time per se. Like, it's off the stream from an hour before. I don't agree with that necessarily. I think the WSOP should probably do something. The optics of it are bad, but as it is, that is legal to do. It's fine. It's not the first year that it's happened. It won't be the last unless the WSOP changes something. But you can just see is McKeon goes to hug, the ear pod starts to fall out, they grab it, and he hands it to a guy. Like, it's clear as day to me. There's no fucking cheating, and it really just irks me that somebody tweets this, and the biggest moment of the WSOP, the main event, we just crowned a winner, and sullying this positive, supposed to be a peak moment in poker with cheating. And then, of course, that spreads like wildfire. I had a friend who doesn't even watch poker messaging me because he's seen it on social media. He's like, what's going on here? Then you have Sean fucking Perry getting on his
sucks.
Just fucking douchebag.
He's the worst, yeah.
He just get the fuck out of poker already. I'm getting like sick of it. He's just
he sucks.
He's no good for the game. He's retweeting it, giving it more exposure so he can get more clout and more clicks. And I'm just fucking fed up with it. Like, Jonathan Tamayo is a good guy. Joe McKeon is a good guy. Dominic Nietzsche, as far as I know, is a good guy. Like, people would be on a list of people I would say would be, no chance of cheating. Again, in poker, you got to eat your words sometimes. I won't say never, but like, these guys, as far as I know, have always been stand-up guys that would be the ones speaking out against it. And to me, it was fine. Jonathan Tamayo was there in 2015 when Joe McKeon won. He was doing something similar, helping run whatever. He was on his Twitter, he said he was the defensive coordinator during that run. And Joe McKeon's just here returning the favor. I don't know. I'm sorry I got heated about it, but it really irked me last night.
No, but like, I saw on the opposite end of the spectrum, I saw a video somebody took from the rail this morning, and it was Jonathan like super hugging his mom, or I think it was his mom, but it was so like heartwarming and like and like that's the kind of stuff that like should go around. Like, he's like literally leaning over, his mom is like in tears, she's so excited for him, she's like, they hugged for like a good 15 seconds, and like just to have somebody be in your corner that hard, like that was just so sweet and heartwarming, and I wish there was more like that.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to Jonathan Tamayo, 38 years old. He's been on the grind for like 20 years. He's out of Humble, Texas. A guy I've known, 4-time WSOP circuit ring winner. And I want to end this on a positive note by showing you the winner's interview with Jonathan Tamayo. Check it out.
The 2024 World Series of Poker Main Event has reached its thrilling conclusion, the largest event in history, and I'm with the winner, Jonathan Tamayo. Jonathan, it seems cliche, I ask it so many times with tournament winners, but this is the tournament everyone wants to win. How are you feeling?
It feels like it's still somewhat imaginary. It kind of hit me when I held the bracelet. I was like, okay, this is actually real.
We spoke earlier in the summer, I don't know if you remember, just on the rail of a random bracelet event. When we spoke then as normal people, I didn't think I was going to be speaking to you weeks later as main event champion. Did you think you were going to ship $10 million and beat a field of 10,112 players?
Absolutely no shot. Joe McKeon tells me that this is an impossible tournament to win.
So many times at the final table, you are there on the cusp of victory, heads up against Jordan Griff. What's your mind going through when you go to the rail, inches away from winning, only to have to sit back down?
You get anxious, but I mean, you just have to remember, like, there's always work to do until the end. So, I mean, I had a little moment there where I might have lost my mind a little bit. Inside, I know I lost my mind a little bit, but thankfully Joe and Dom calmed me down a little bit, which is great.
It's not a bad rail to have heads up for $10 million. What have you got to say to Joe, obviously, and Dom and the work that they helped to get you here?
I can't thank them enough because without them, I don't think I win this tournament.
Jonathan, it's been an absolute pleasure reporting you. Congratulations.
All right. Once again, congratulations to our 2024 World Series of Poker Main Event champion, Jonathan Tamayo.
Yay.
WSOP Player of the Year. I'm just going to call it. It's not official. The WSOP hasn't sent out a press release or anything, but in the election night, we're just calling it for Scott Seiver.
Scott Seiver.
I'm looking at the points right now. He's got 4,403 points. The next closest, Michael Rocco, with 3,803 points. So a 600-point lead right there. Mike, there's 2 online events still to go.
2 online events, yep.
Yeah, so unless Michael Rocco or Ausmus wins them both or something, but even one
only one of them counts.
Yeah, we're calling this for Scott Seiver. Amazing summer. He finished with 3 bracelets. The first time since 2009 somebody's done it in Las Vegas. Second time since 2014 when George Danzer did it, but of course one of his came overseas. So just an incredible, goes from 4 bracelets a career to 7. We've talked about Poker Hall of Fame next year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Scott Seiver, his summer is one of the biggest stories of the 2024 WSOP, right?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And the fact that we talked about it like in the beginning too, like that people were projecting Scott Seiver for Player of the Year, that if he really wanted to and he went for it, he could get it. And then he did. Wow.
He's a monster. He's so good at poker.
If it was only that easy, right? Like,
yeah, no, exactly.
Can you guys call it for me next year? I promise to try real hard.
Right.
Another big story was that of Phil Ivey, right? He wins his 11th gold bracelet. He took down the 10K deuce to 7 draw championship back in early to mid-June, winning that for $347,000 and again, his 11th bracelet. Phil Ivey is hit or miss at the World Series. Sometimes he shows up and he plays a full schedule. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he's not even there, and it's hard to predict. Mike, did you enjoy Ivey in the mix at the 2024 WSOP?
I wish he was in the mix every year.
You got to play with him that one tournament.
I did. Yeah. No, Ivey's awesome, man. He's cool. Seems like he's in a great headspace right now. So, yeah, I love seeing Ivey. I want him to be there as much as possible.
Yeah.
Did he eliminate you from that event?
Yeah, he did.
Oh.
Really?
He did eliminate me, yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been busted in one tournament by Negreanu, and it's like a story I can always
so
tell.
Have I. The 10K win tournament, the first year that they had it, I got 74th, and Daniel Negreanu busted me, and he cheered. Rude.
Well, speaking of Negreanu, that was another one of the big stories of the summer. Arguably one of the greatest moments in terms of just fan excitement inside the horseshoe. And that was when he won the 50K Poker Players Championship, which, of course, is his favorite event. He always says he hadn't won a bracelet since 2013. This long break. He gets it done for number 7, almost $1.2 million. Of course, he does the vlogs every summer, so he takes the fans on a ride. And I don't know, it just felt long overdue, and I was excited to see it. And definitely, one of the bigger moments.
Yeah. Sure. Good job, Daniel.
Yeah, way to go, D-Negs.
You guys seem so excited.
Yeah, I was excited at the time. Now it's,
it seems like so long ago.
I forgot that it even happened.
That's being said, he won that for $1.2 million. I watched his vlog today, the last one of the summer.
I watched it too, yeah.
And then at the very end, you get that tag that says down 171,000 on the summer still.
But I have a bracelet.
Right? And he's not the only one. There are quite a few pros who won bracelets and had big scores this summer that actually still had losing summers.
Yeah,
right?
It's kind of common, actually. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, very deceptive at times. One man I think is safe to say did turn a profit this summer is Jeremy Ausmus. That's got to be another one of the big summers.
So good, yeah.
He ended up finishing 3rd on the Player of the Year point leaderboard as I'm looking at it, 3,686 points, made 7 final tables that tied him with Phil Hellmuth's record from 2021, and he finished 7th, 4th, 6th, 7th, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. For roughly looking like $2.5 million. That doesn't include all the minimum scores that he had as well.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Ausmus, get him in the Poker Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, put him in there.
I mean, it's not going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately. He wasn't even nominated this year.
So crazy.
Yeah, and got the backlog. But I don't know, Jeremy Ausmus really killing it. Another story, Kyna, which I think was one of the more fun ones, was the ladies event.
Yes, the ladies event. I think that was one of my favorite moments of the summer for sure. Going there and being on the rail for Jamie. It was quite a rowdy rail, but once it got like down to heads up too, like Shiina's rail was kind of being pretty rowdy too. Not like super, not like, Conrad kind of level rowdy, but they were in there cheering and everything. It was like kind of a back and forth kind of thing. It was really exciting. So good job, Shiina. And she got second place last year, and this year she gets to win a bracelet. How crazy. What a run.
Yeah, I thought it was quite amazing. And I was actually driving to sweat Jeremy Kerstetter heads up. And then I got the text on the way that she had busted. But, it was just one of the fun events, that ladies event, 1,245 runners. So congratulations to Shiina Okamoto out of Japan. Another bracelet winner that I personally liked, and I do think was one of the bigger stories, not only the bracelet win, but just his kind of 5-day total leading up to the 4th of July. I'm talking about Big Huni. Chris Hunichen.
Yeah, good job, Huni.
Yeah, he crushed.
Yeah,
huge summer.
Last summer his father passed away. Very sad. Kind of came out of the blue, unexpected, and obviously, gut punched him.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back this summer. I remember talking to him before the WSOP started, and he said, I'm going to play a full schedule. I'm going to grind. He was really after that first bracelet, and he got it done in event number 47. This was the middle of June. The 100K high roller took it down for $2.8 million. But it got better because 5 days later, he ended up or is it maybe even 3 days later, he ended up finishing third in the 250K super high roller for $2.4 million. So in this kind of 5-day period, he won $5.2 million.
Sick.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, just absolutely.
It's a lot of money.
Crushed it, and then had like the most epic 4th of July party that there was. I know you weren't there, Mike, but Kyna and I got to.
That was fun. Yeah. Thanks for the party, Huni.
Yeah, that was good. I'll be there next year. So another thing that I think was good about the 2024, like everybody asked, what is this going to be the year of, right? And this one for me was kind of the year of the pro, almost, because I compiled a list here of big name players who won bracelets. A lot of them, and I'll talk about those in a minute, won multiple, like this was their 7th or what have you. But there was actually a good list of pros who won their first ever bracelets. I'll read some to you. Asher Conniff, right at the beginning, event number 1, right?
Yep.
Dan Sepio, yep, he's on there. Breck Schutten, the WPT champ. Sergio Aedo, Dario Sammartino, Jared Blesnick, Michael Liang just won one.
Oh, yeah, the sevens. Yeah, I played with Mike.
Liang.
Yeah, he's such a nice guy, too. So good for him. That was a crazy payout structure, though. Not to change the subject.
I'm not familiar with it.
It was like 777, and then it went to like,
that was crazy,
second place was 377. You're like, oh my God, we're just playing heads up for $400,000. Like, what a sick thing to do.
And then Michael Rocco got a bracelet here towards the end.
Yeah, Michael Rocco, good job.
Which I think was great because if you remember earlier in the summer, we played that video of him finishing third. And
he was
so
sad.
Yeah, he was just crushed, right? And like, am I ever going to break through? And then he does.
He's a beast. We love Michael Rocco.
And he's going to buy a farm or something now, too.
I'd like to know if that's true. Like, because he told my colleague Callum Grant that, and I'm like, he might be trolling you. I don't know.
No, I think it's truthful.
Yeah? Just going out
legit.
And buying some overalls and going out on the farm and raising.
I was like, it's do like sustainable farming, like, organic. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's an interest of yours. My friend Angela Jordison lives on a farm, sort of. She has a bunch of animals and stuff like that. And
well,
that's the thing to do. You want to be a pro, buy a farm.
And then there were the well-known players that won multiple bracelets, right? They've already had a bracelet on their resume, but maybe they won their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, whatever. Scott Seiver, 3 more. And let me just quick rattle off this list. And you tell me like this isn't the year of the pro. John Hennigan, Bryce Yaki, Nick Wogente, David Prosiak, he won 2. Robert Mizrahi, Dylan Weissman, John Racner won 1 and almost like 2 others. Sean Troyha, Nick Schulman, Richard Ashby, Phil Wee, Timur Margolin, James Obst, Chris Vitch, Yuri Dzivaleski, Santosh Shuvarna, Frank Finaro, Chance Kornuth, Kelvin Anderson, and just last night, Alex Livingston.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what did Alex win?
The PLO, 3K
oh,
PLO.
Yeah, good for Alex.
Yeah, he started, slow this summer and then boom, with a bang. So I actually thought about that when I was walking around the Rio yesterday because they're breaking down the set, they're breaking down tables or what have you.
And
the
Rio.
The Rio.
Or did I say the Rio? Old habits die hard, right? At the Horseshoe. And I was like, these people are going to be happy to win a bracelet, no doubt. But like the fanfare, the excitement is not there.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying, right? I was thinking that too, yeah.
It's like, when you can play at the mothership under the bright lights, or sometimes you're off on the side table.
Yeah.
And that was definitely a side table sort of thing. The WSOP has a section on their website about stats from the 2024 WSOP. I wanted to just share a few that I kind of thought were surprising. So how many multiple bracelet winners do you think there were this year?
4.
We already talked about Seiver, right?
Yeah. Someone won an online one too that also won a live one, right?
David Prosiak.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And then, so it was 3. The other person being Xingzhang Liu, which was surprising. I'm like, wait, who is this person? And how you won 2 bracelets? How did this not get on my radar a little bit more? He ended up winning event number 41, the 1500 mixed no limit hold'em PLO double board bomb pot.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, he took that one down for $270,000, and then a month later, event 96, the 25K high roller horse for $725K.
Oh wow, good for that guy. That's
yeah,
sick.
like that's a pretty good summer.
Yeah,
that's a great summer.
From no bracelets to 2. Earnings. Jonathan Tamayo, of course, is the earner because of the main event by virtue. Jordan Griff moved into 3rd place. Do you know who second is, though? So Jordan Griff, $6,002,004. There's somebody that won $6,055,453.
Santos?
Yeah, it was Santos, for that $250K.
I mean, how could you not?
Big Huni, as I said, he had about $5.3 million this year. And then Jeremy Ausmus, we mentioned, almost $3.5 million there. Mike, this one's for you. Your record fell, buddy. Your most cashes in a WSOP summer fell.
Yep. It was inevitable.
Yeah.
30 bracelet
But
events
it's your
online.
buddy.
Yeah, Kyle Miholich. Let's go, baby.
28.
No, he's got more. He has 30 now.
Does he? They just haven't updated?
Kyle was wearing some fun outfits this summer too. So when we were playing the closer, he was dressed as Ron Burgundy.
Oh, really?
And he was like walking around, like doing interviews and stuff. It was funny.
I didn't see that. I really wish I would have saw that one.
It was on
his
Tuesday.
Ron Burgundy is classic stuff.
I know he always wears the Jack in the Box big thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I love him. I didn't know he was having such a good summer in terms of cashes.
We kept it under wraps. Just we didn't want anyone else to be like, oh, I'm going to try.
You were burying it? You're like,
I was burying it. Yeah. No, I was familiar.
According to the list I'm seeing here, Ben Yu, Ryan Reese, Sean Deeb all had a bunch of cashes as well this summer. So congratulations to them. Looking over the Millionaires Club, right? So the WSOP has this thing, people who won $1 to $2 million this summer, $2 to $5 million, and $5+ million. How many $5+ million winners were there this summer?
Including the main event
Including the main event.
7, 6.
Too high.
I was to say 4.
4 is right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Jonathan Tamayo, Jordan Griff, right, from the main event itself. Then Santosh and then Big Huni. Those were the 4. 14 players won between 2 and $5 million.
Let's list them all.
And it looks like 29 players won $1 million or more.
Sick.
Pretty sick. Good for them.
Or not even that.
1
to 2 million.
1 to 2.
Right, yeah. So pretty impressive there. Top women at this year's WSOP. We talked about, so there was no women bracelet winners in open events, which is always a little, disappointing.
I thought it might happen in the closer because when we were there on day 2, there were a lot of women left. And I think a few of them went deep, but.
Yeah, well, Shiina Okamoto, who we just mentioned, she did win the ladies event. So that was the first bracelet. And then the top woman earner was Kristen Foxen. Of course, the deep run in the main event.
Yeah.
And
probably then Jamie, though, yeah.
No, then it was Shundan Zhao.
Oh.
She had 306,000. Let me see if I can pull up. So 300,000 for finishing 28th in the main event. So she was
right.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about it.
Yeah, I did a little bit as well. Maria Ho, 196,000. Then Shiina Okamoto, 192,000. And then Jamie.
Yeah, good job, Jamie.
160K.
Hot dogs.
Most female cashes, Maria Ho, 16. Kathy Liebert, Jamie Kerstetter, Lexi Gavin Mather, all tied with a dozen apiece. So congratulations to them. And then let's see what else we got. There's any other I'm looking through. They got some great, they do like earnings by country, country bracelets. The U.S. 71 bracelets. What country is second? I'll give you a hint. They had 8 bracelets.
Spain
was on number 5 with 3. China was number 12 with only 2.
2?
Mm-hmm.
I thought
No, it's Canada.
Canada is number 3 with 5. Austria was number 4 with 3, and number 2, the United Kingdom.
Oh, right.
UK.
Yeah, I forgot that's a country.
Yeah, me too.
It looks like there were 141 distinct countries at this year's World Series of Poker, really putting the world in WSOP.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then the close but no cigar, which I really like, is kind of like a little neato category. Most runner-up finishes. 4 players had 2 runner-up finishes throughout the summer.
Jeremy Ausmus.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah. Didn't he get second twice?
No.
Or he got second and third?
Once, yeah, and then a third and like a fourth.
John Reisner?
No. Josh Aryeh. Yeah, he finished runner-up twice. Pedro Rodriguez, Robert Wells, and then Adam Owen all had.
Oh, Adam Owen got second. Oh, wow. I thought he won the other bracelet. Wow.
And then most third place finishes, Victor Blom, Michael Rocco, each had 2 apiece. So close.
Oh, they're good friends too.
Yeah.
Blom and Rocco are good friends. I see them together all the time. Yeah.
Close but no cigar. 25K fantasy draft. It's over. I got to, it's official this morning. I actually went on the site. We predicted it. Team Dinkers ran away with this thing. They had a record 1,437 points. The next highest score in years past was 1,204 in 2019. So testament to just how good of a team Team Dinkers had, which is Josh Kay and the Florida guys, had John Reisner, Brian Rass, Bryce Yaki, Robert Mizrahi, Chris Brewer, David Coleman, Ben Lamb, and Jerry Wong. So just a stacked field.
Who
there.
won between AJ's Eagles and Daniel Negreanu's team?
So while AJ's Eagles snuck into the money, 4th place with 829 points, Negreanu did not have a good. He had 16th out of 19 teams, 532 points.
I'll be collecting my $5,000 from D-Negs later today.
Philip Sternheimer, 1,025 for runner-up, and then Team Sepio, Dan Sepio, continues to run good, makes the money in the 25K fantasy draft. Looking over the top players, Kyna, who's the top player?
Jeremy Ausmus.
Jeremy Ausmus has been.
Easy guess.
388 points. John Reisner had a good end of the summer, so 336 points. And then Scott Seiver, 334 points. In the David ODB League.
The important league now. How did our team finish?
Team PokerNews Super Friends finished in 105th place with 1,150 points. And unfortunately, you needed to be in 70th place. So we did not make the money, but damn, we were close. We were going in and out. Like one day we would be in it.
See if my team made
it.
What's
your team name? I can look it up.
Should have drafted me.
You finished in 146th place with 1,100 points. So
trash.
Close, but no cigar.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not even really close.
I mean,
it's pretty close.
Yeah, out of 709 teams, it's not a bad finish. Interestingly, the top 2 spots, 1 point separated them. Meslagio, 1,679 points, wins the David ODB Fantasy League. And then Hi Tom Floutery, I don't know, some crazy name there, 1,678 points and $55,000 for first place off the $500 thing. Yeah, $33,000
okay, we're doing one
second.
next year. I want to be on
Team PokerNews Podcast.
Team PokerNews Podcast.
I'm with it.
Yeah, I'm there with you as well. So it was a fun sweat. Congratulations to all those winners. And then real quick, there's the $2,500 fantasy league from Mark Gregorich. That was won by Joey Kuden, who we just talked about.
Oh, we just talked about him, yeah.
He had a good series.
Yeah, 1,224 points to win that one. So that's going to do it for the 25K fantasy draft. I will do a full wrap-up on PokerNews.com. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm sure we'll run it back next year. All right, well, that's the WSOP in a nutshell. But there was some news announced that we can look forward to because the WSOP is returning to Paradise, to the Bahamas in December from the 6th to the 19th for the second edition of the WSOP Paradise in conjunction with GG Poker. There's a $50 million guaranteed super main event, $25,000 buy-in. $50 million guarantee, the largest guarantee, going $10 million more than the Win did last year, and they didn't make their guarantee. I don't know. What do you guys make of that? Is that insane?
That's pretty crazy.
That's pretty wild. Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of a hard sell though too, because it's hard to go there. Like I went last year, and it's hard to get there. It's expensive, but and then you're just there on the property the whole time. So
many.
We'll see.
2,000 people playing at 25K. How's that even possible?
I mean, the PSPC, Poker Stars, or the Poker Stars Caribbean Adventure. Yeah, GG's just got to pump it full of qualifiers,
Satellite
right?
winners, yeah.
But it's going to be hard because, look, so the WSOP Paradise, December 6th through the 19th. WPT World Championship right over here at the Win.
Yeah.
December 3rd through the 23rd.
I don't know why they're doing them
and that's not it. EPT Prague, December 4th through the 15th.
Whoa.
So you have 3 of the biggest events of the year taking place at the same time. You're going to make the players choose. I mean, I had heard rumors that the WSOP might move Paradise up so that this wouldn't happen, but clearly they're saying, no, let's go head to head. And
yeah, when there's a big series in Vegas, that's like, it's just a hard sell. Like, it's hard to get all the way down there and like get, travel accommodations, get a room at the Atlantis. It's, it's hefty. It's a hefty
plus
ask.
I'm going to the Atlantis in a week, so I don't know if I'm going to.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm going from, not a week, the 2nd to the 8th.
Just
That's
a vacation?
Just
getting away?
get me out of this place, right? I need no more poker for a while. Like, I'm just trying to relax and sleep. Like, it's been...
Well, that'll be fun.
Yes, it
Good.
will be.
I hope you guys have a nice trip.
We will have a nice trip.
Yeah, hit those water slides.
Oh, at the Lazy River? Say what?
They closed it.
They closed what?
Their Lazy River. When I was there in December, they closed the Lazy River and they only have the Rapid River now.
Oh, that's really what I'm looking for. Is the Rapid
Well, because
River.
you can't, I was disappointed because I wanted to sit there and, lay on the river with a cocktail. I don't want to be, jostled around. I just want to lay there with my cocktail.
To be honest with you, the Lazy River, when I remember it from 15 years ago, it was never really lazy. It really was mildly rapid.
Well, this one's pretty rapid. You cannot hold things and,
No glass of wine.
No wine. Yeah. That's the best part about a lazy river. What do you mean?
Well, I'm with it.
I'll have to see where I'm going in December. My birthday is December 11th, so whatever stop I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
It was at the Bahamas last year. Yeah, you had a party.
So
I couldn't
December
go.
30th here. Look, December babies.
Last year, I did get to go to WSOP Paradise and then still make it back for the end of the WPT World Championship.
Yeah.
So the WPT World Championship goes to the 23rd, WSOP Paradise 19th. So the schedules aren't out yet, but presumably it might be like last year where people could do both. They'd have to go straight from Paradise to Vegas to make it. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the case. But I wish sometimes these operators would work a little bit more in conjunction. Instead of separating the player base. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Full schedules for all these stops should be out soon, and we'll just have to wait and see. Before we end this episode, I want to give a quick shout out to just my colleagues at PokerNews. We have just wrapped up. We moved everything out of our office. We were no longer at the WSOP. It was 51 long days, and we had a team of dozens of reporters, photographers, writers, and I just think they did a really good job this summer. They sometimes get criticized on social media, which is fair, but I also know how hard they're working day in, day out, how passionate they are, and they just did a really good job this summer. Shout out especially to Shirley Ang and Josh Noy, my two colleagues who head up the live reporting and were responsible for the summer. Sava, who was there helping, Milko on the digital team, his whole team, Will Shillabeer and the content team, John, Connor, just everybody in general. And also to you two. You guys were very busy this summer with life, with poker, but you still found time to get in here, help host the show, not together. I think that, because
this is the first one we've done together since the beginning of the summer, I think.
But a lot of shout outs then too, and thank yous to the people who filled in. Johnny Vibes, Joey Ingram, Keith Becker, Kyle Anderson. There were more.
Connor was key.
Yeah. So really appreciate that. Now, we were doing 2 episodes of the PokerNews Podcast twice a week during the 2024 WSOP, but it's over. So we're going to go back to our weekly show, but it's going to be the same 8 a.m. Pacific time every Friday morning. You can set your watch to it. That's what we're doing. Of course, there's the video on our YouTube channel, or you can listen to the audio-only version on any podcast platform. Before we wrap this up officially, I want to ask you guys, we've talked about some of the biggest stories of the 2024 WSOP from kind of an outside perspective, but what was your highlight? Not necessarily a tournament cash. It could be. Maybe the employee event was Mike's top this summer.
Never
But
again.
Was there something this summer that you just really enjoyed, whether it was on the felt, off the felt, a party, a big tournament, whatever it might be? What sticks out for you, Kyna?
I mean, I just love when all my friends come in and I get to see everybody and you just randomly run into people in the hall, and that's fun, and having drinks with people. But I think one of my favorite moments was my table at the Millie Maker. It was just, I was at the same table almost all day, and it was just so fun, and kept getting somebody would bust, somebody fun would bust, and then they would get replaced by somebody new fun. And near the end of the night, these 2 Russian guys were sitting there drinking with me and having a blast, and people from across the room could be like, Kyna, I can hear you, you're having way too much fun. So that was a really great time. And then also just cheering on my friends. My girlfriends had a good summer. Kristen, my Deerdorf, she ran pretty deep in the $1 million bounty. Lindsay winning that nugget tournament. Jamie getting second place in the ladies event, like Angela making the final table of the 5K seniors event. This is just like a great year for everybody. And I'm just like super glad I got to witness it and be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, what about you? You were on the grind, man. You were grinding day in, day out.
I'm dead inside. No, yeah. My favorite part is probably that I bricked every 10K. No. Playing with Phil Ivey was the coolest.
Yeah.
Him and Ben Lamb. That was sick. I can sit next to them and soak up their wisdom and knowledge and, have a nice conversation. It's kind of a pipe dream for me. So, and also commentating the main. That was really sick,
That
too.
is cool. I had a lot of friends say that you did a really good job, too.
Yay.
People thought you did really well.
I did good.
I didn't see it, so I'll watch it and judge it myself, but
That's
you did
fair.
really great.
Oh, I thank you. I appreciate it.
Get Mike back in the booth.
Yeah, get me in the booth, baby girl.
For me, I had a lot of fun doing this show twice a week and really sharing it with the audience. And more than that, and hopefully you guys experienced this too, but when I was walking the hallways or the few chances I got to play, I would have people come up to me saying how much they're enjoying the show.
Oh, yeah.
The video, the in-studio element, and I don't know, like, it makes it feel like, okay, what we're doing here is actually being loved and appreciated by the poker community.
I agree. Like, people will often say to me that they loved Game of Gold, but like sometimes during the summer, people would come up and be like, hey, you're doing great on the podcast. And that just feels really good because it's like something that we can control, something that's like, we're creating. And thanks for watching, everybody.
Yay, thank you.
Well, that is going to do it. That is what's
Thank you so much for watching.
That's going to do it for the 2024 World Series of Poker. But as I mentioned, we will be back every Friday with a new episode for whatever the poker world brings us. Until then, we'll keep a seat open for you.